Hello YouTube, this is Mahadev the Thunder Wizard. Welcome back to the channel. It is July 6th and or 7th, depending on where you are on this globe of planet Earth. And today I want to share with you the current state of affairs across the world and what that might mean for the ongoing solar wave event, which may in fact end up being what people are calling the final ascension event for three-dimensional humans. So aliens, ETs, are actually helping humans merge their past incarnations. So what's happening is people are interacting with higher dimensional beings, and as a result, their past incarnations, their identities are merging into one. The idea of that is so that you can overcome all of your negative karmas from past lives and become your true, authentic identity as you ascend. Currently, what's going on in the world is that the mainstream media, the lies surrounding UFOs and aliens is increasing. 3D and 5D separation is beginning, in my opinion, at the very least, if not physically, certainly on a psychological and emotional level. And not only are there crazy weather events and all kinds of other things, but society itself is collapsing around us, and we will talk about that. So this is Mahadev the Thunder Wizard, and this is thunderwizard.com YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, before I get into any of this, please avail yourself of the channel. Go on to the Thunder Wizard DOTCOM YouTube channel page and look at the playlists. If you don't know how to do so, learn how to do so now, which is learn how to search within somebody's channel. It still blows my mind when I tell people to search within the channel. They just think typing into YouTube, the search bar is searching in a channel. No. There are different ways to do it on a PC or on a laptop. There's the magnifying glass. You can type in whatever phrase or word you want, and you'll see what's on that person's channel. You will have to find out how to do it on your phone or on your device, and all you have to do is just simply Google it, how to search within somebody's YouTube channel on an iPhone, on an iPad, whatever. But it's a very important tool, because on my channel I have nothing but endless videos, and some of them have direct tools for you to use, and you can search all kinds of things on my channel, use it as a library. And if you are serious about shifting your energy up to the next level so that you'll be able to handle this ascension event, which is, I believe, perhaps coming extremely soon, then I offer you the Warrior 90-Day Challenge. Go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe, and or do the free practices on the channel that you can find in the playlists. My books, Interdimensional Revolution, as well as Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth, and others that are very important, you can find on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible. And Interdimensional Meditation, which you can do some free guided interdimensional meditations on the channel, and I will also be telling you in the 90-Day Challenge some advanced meditations. I have some thoughts about some more coming up, but there's plenty on the channel as it is. All right, so back to this. How is it that aliens are helping humans merge their past incarnations to achieve ascension? Let's talk about the mainstream media lies. I put a link in here in the chat. I put a link in here for the mainstream media cover-up of what's going on with the hidden UFO programs. I put the link down in there. If you're seeing this and you're not finding the link, go to Sirius Disclosure, SIRIUS disclosure.com, and look for the latest article by Dr. Greer explaining to you what's going on. But let me give you some background on it. On the 12th of June, almost a month ago, on the 12th of June, Dr. Stephen Greer, who has been spearheading this project to reveal the deep state for decades. He actually brought to the media in a press club event so that anybody in the press was invited to come, including all of the mainstream media outlets. And on there he had military insiders and technology insiders who were sharing about a hidden UFO program and programs having to do with down spacecraft, having to do with technology that we have had for 100 years, including anti-grav technology, including spacecraft, including everything that you see in Star Wars and Star Trek. You hear from people, from insiders from those industries, including the military, to talk about this. And none of it, zero, has been portrayed on the mainstream media. However, the deep state plants of misinformation you've been seeing all over the screens. And in the beginning, it sounds like they're talking, singing the same song. And what you find out very quickly is that, David Grush, as well as the normal guys you always see on mainstream media that are supposedly inside military whistleblowers, they all say the same thing, which is that we don't have this technology and aliens are dangerous. And so now there's talk about this is on mainstream media, aliens are demons, aliens are killing humans. And the truth is that is a complete lie. None of that is true. Extraterrestrials have never, ever abducted humans. Humans have abducted humans pretending to be extraterrestrials since I was born, 1963. So that lie is being perpetrated and is being continued to be thrown out there. And it's just unfortunately very sad, but the deep state has taken over the alien conversation and the UFO conversation. And without me getting too deep into it, because if I do, YouTube might get upset, this may end up in something less than pleasant for the rest of us. False flag, shall we say. And what else do we want to talk about? What I'm seeing, the weather is crazy in the United States. There are more storms and floods and heat waves and tornadoes than I've ever seen. I've never seen this much crazy weather in the United States. And it is forecast that there's going to be far more than normal amount of hurricanes that very well may make landfall on the United States. And it makes me wonder, is something going on? Is HAARP involved? Is this just some crazy fluke of weather, or is something else going on? The other thing that's blowing my mind is the amount of shootings every day. I'm here in Australia. I'm having a blast. Life is wonderful. Winter, where I'm at, in the middle of winter means 70 to 75 degrees and 75-degree ocean and no wind and perfect waves. I couldn't be happier. But what I'm seeing on the news every night, I don't watch the entire news. I just watch the headlines. And in those first minute where you get the headlines, it seems at least once a week there's some major shooting. And I'm suspicious about that. These shootings, I think, are designed to continue to do some destructive things, which will ultimately end up with you losing your freedom. This is, I believe, intended, and I'm not going to get any further in it than that, but that's just my feeling. It feels like this is not just some random thing. This is intentional. And so when you put all that together, and also there was another explosion and a fire, a cargo ship filled with cars and a bunch of other things blew up. And I wonder what is going on. And of course, nobody says how it blows up. It's just this major thing. Not too long ago, some tanker was conveniently parked under this one of the most well-traveled roads in the United States, where all kinds of supplies go everywhere, and just perfectly aligned right underneath it, some tanker blew up and destroyed it. And we've had all of these fires over the past few years. Factories. 1 year it's plastic factories. The year before that it's food processing plants. And all kinds of things are happening to people's farms, and it's just all of this is coming together on top of the fact that, of course, we have all of these issues going on with the economy, as though the economy is a living thing that has its own life to it. Anyway, all of these things are piling up, and it seems too convenient and too coincidental, and I wonder what is the cause behind it. You can guess what my thoughts are about it. I can't vocalize it here on YouTube. So I believe that is in direct response to the imminent solar wave event. By the way, I didn't know this, but I just yesterday I found out that Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, the United States government, probably Greta Thunberg and all of her employers, have been seriously considering blocking out the sun in an attempt to stave off global warming. And I guess what they were planning on doing was putting some kind of reflective, polluting the atmosphere with some kind of reflective chemical that is supposedly going to reflect. And they specifically said to reduce solar radiation hitting the Earth. And that is a fact. I'm not making that one up. That's not a conspiracy theory. That is a fact. And it is also a fact that the solar flash event, the solar wave event, actually it's a series of solar waves, happens to be completely focused on solar radiation hitting the Earth and transforming the consciousness and changing the evolution of human beings. I could go into some specifics on things that have happened over the past 3 years that are directly designed to stop human evolution. And you combine that with government as well as billionaires seeking to block out solar radiation. And on top of that, what happened over the past 2 or 3 years, we had governments mandating people stay out of the sun. It all seems too convenient. You can't make this stuff up. The powers that be have a vested interest in keeping you a slave, keeping you in the narrative that money is where your value comes from, and being part of the crowd is where your value comes from. And if you wake up to your own true soul essence, you cannot be controlled, in which case everything falls apart. Money falls apart, the banking system falls apart, military industrial complex falls apart, and everybody then becomes free to make use of these technologies that are available to not just human beings but all beings in the universe, which allow you to power your own home without the need of paying anybody else, being able to power your vehicles, being able to have anti-grav vehicles, have vehicles that don't pollute, that are powered simply by your consciousness and the ambient energy around you. When this happens, then all of the mechanisms by which you are controlled completely fall apart. And this is what the deep state does not want. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper into this, which is the main headline here. By the way, stay till the end of this video, because I'm going to share with you again, I've shared it before, but I'm going to share with you again, a meditation to help you tap into the infinite quantum field. And with your powers of meditation, you can bring the deep state, the elites, call it whatever you want, the Illuminati, if you want to believe in reptilians or controlling the world, evil beings, whatever. I'm going to give you a meditation that will give you the ability to tap into the infinite quantum power of the universe to stop these people from what they plan on doing. They're not going to win. Nevertheless, there might be some very interesting things that might happen between now and the shift that is coming. Okay, so aliens are helping humans merge their past incarnations and overcome negative karmas. By the way, I don't personally like the word aliens, because alien means different. Aliens are always portrayed as sociopathic. They're from some other planet and they don't know what humans are, and they don't understand the golden rule. They don't have empathy. They don't understand people's boundaries. They don't see you as anything other than a piece of meat for them to slice open and use for their own purposes. And that's just not true, because this universe is filled with beings of all different kinds, both physical and non-physical, who have the same values that you do. They believe in the golden rule. You should treat other people the way you want to be treated. They believe that every conscious being has the right to be happy and free. Their only desire is for you to be happy. And in fact, when you start to peel back the layers of mystery, you find out that their souls are identical to yours and that they are in fact your family. Extraterrestrial beings who have been coming to Earth since before humans evolved are beings that you have shared lifetimes with. You have been family members with them. They love you that way. In the same way, if you're a family member and your niece goes off to college and you go to visit her in her dorm room and say hello because you love her, that's exactly what happens when an ET comes to Earth and visits you. You are their family. To understand that destroys this whole nonsense of this otherness. So we just need to get that assumption out there. And if you don't believe me, I challenge you to prove me wrong. And here's how you do it with your own experience. Do CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. If you don't know what it is, look it up. Google CE5 protocols. You don't want to do that? Great. I have free guided interdimensional meditations on my channel. If you just go and look on the playlist, you can find them. And you can connect directly with these beings. And you can find out for yourself that everything that you've seen in sci-fi movies and everything that you've been told and are currently being told by your local news as well as national and international news channels, all of that is complete lies. Right. So I just wanted to get that out there. That's how you can find out. Prove me wrong. Connect with them and tell me. Tell me that they took you hostage and stuck things in your neck or whatever. Tell me that they anally probed you. None of that is going to happen. Okay, so ETs, what they are doing with me. I can't speak for everybody else, but here's what's happened with me. When I first started interacting with these beings about a year ago, which was my choice. I chose to do it, and I had to put a little effort into it. And once I was able to break through my own lack of ability to connect to other dimensions, then the floodgates were opened and all kinds of things started happening to me. Among which continues to this day, have been ETs revealing to me past lives and getting me back to an original life, my first life that I came onto this planet to experience. And what I've come to understand is that each one of these lives are not separate little lives. They are chapters in a large novel. And so when you have come to this planet and incarnated as a human, you sign up to be reincarnated many times. It's your choice. You chose to do it. You don't have to like that. You don't have to like being human any more than you have to like when you take on a challenging job. But you chose to incarnate, and each one of the lives that you chose to have ended up being one large piece of investigative work for you, so that you could achieve a purpose. You have a purpose here which is directly connected to the evolving consciousness of the universe. And you are here to learn something. And one of the things that I came to find out recently when I was in interdimensional meditation and I was interacting with the beings who call themselves the Mother and the Father, and these beings say they are the gods who the gods worship. And you can find whatever equivalent you want in whatever spiritual path that has meaning to you. And as I was interacting with these beings, they said, we sent you to Earth so that you could tell us why humans are so afraid. And I became aware they weren't talking about this life. They were talking about every single incarnation that I've had. It's been something that my soul has been seeking to understand, starting with the first and going all the way into this one. And my first response when I became aware that these beings, they live timelessly, and for them to say, we sent you to Earth to figure this out, for them it's instantaneous, but for me it's thousands of lifetimes. And and when you have an interaction like that with beings of that power, one of the first things that happens is that your identity gets destroyed and you become empowered beyond your 3D capabilities. And that is usually traumatic. So what will usually happen is I will have some kind of traumatic experience afterwards. I might be sad, I might be depressed, I might be angry, I might be paranoid. I'll go through a couple of days where I will need to sort of get myself back together as I expand into this new, higher dimensional awareness. And so after that, I got angry with them and I said, are you telling me that all of the stuff I've gone through in this life, not to mention all the others, because I have some memory of some past lives which also weren't that great. Interesting thing about past lives is you only remember the negative ones because those are the ones that have unresolved lessons. The ones that you had fun with, because you have plenty of fun ones where you just go and you have fun for a lifetime. You don't remember those. You remember the ones that you still have lessons to learn. So I know of a few of my past lives and they're, challenging. So I was saying to them, I can't believe that you did this to me just so you could figure out this one question, why humans are so afraid. And of course, that isn't really what was going on. I was the one that wanted to understand. I came to find out in future interactions on an interdimensional level, I went back in time before I was incarnated. And I, along with I don't know how many other souls, created this three-dimensional reality specifically to get to see and learn and overcome the tiniest little imperfections in our soul nature, so that we could become more powerful, so that we could understand more of our consciousness. And I remember looking at this 3D reality, which was sort of like a globe, and there was a bunch of us, and we were looking in there. And I remember saying, since I, among others, since I am one of the people who has designed this and came up with this, I have to go. And I have to go and be in this through the end. And because, I have a responsibility, because I created it and I need to be a part of it. So if that's true for me, guess what? That's true for you too. Because the only people who get here are the ones that are powerful enough to even create this 3D reality. And what recently happened, I won't get into the details yet because I don't think there's anything to be gained by sharing it. If I decide that there's something beneficial for other people to learn about the specifics, I will. But I became aware of, if not my first life, one of my first lives. And I became aware that the purpose that I had in that life never stopped. I mean, it's hard, it doesn't make sense if I don't tell you what that purpose was. But the point I'm making is that ETs have been telling me from the beginning, you have an extremely important role here. Now, they say that to everybody, just to be fair. They tell everybody that because it's true. And now I've become aware that, because again, those two beings, the mother and the father, revealed to me specifics about where I was born, who I was, who they are, and gave me specifics I could not have known. And they say numerous times, go look it up. And I'll go and look up things and find out there's no way I could have known that. There's no way I could have made that up. And so now I have a very good idea of what my purpose is in this next earth that is being developed. And it has given me a sense of purpose. It blows my mind because it's very unbelievable. But I'm here to tell you that the same is true for you. And so I encourage you to do your interdimensional meditations. If you find them challenging, if you find it difficult to connect, or it is easy for you to connect and it kind of flips you out, I want to encourage you to keep going, because the whole point of it is to expand you into your authentic self, your first identity that you came here with, and to fulfill that purpose. Because when we go into the next version of Earth, I don't know if everybody's going to have this experience, but certainly the light bringers, the people who are going to be the leaders in the creation of this next world, they're going to be aware of what their purpose has been since their very first incarnation in the old Earth. And so you will be conscious of all of your lives, at the very least all the ones that are important. And you will be conscious of your essence beyond the third dimension. That is really what these beings want to give us. And the mainstream is actually taking advantage of what normally happens when you go through this kind of shift. You die to yourself. You die to your limited three-dimensional tiny life identity, which is keeping you trapped here. You die to that. And it is painful, and it is challenging, and it is frightening, and it is all kinds of things. And the mainstream is taking advantage of that by playing on your fears, That's why these so-called military insiders who are saying, yes, we have downed spacecraft, and yes, we have bodies of aliens, and oh, by the way, they kill humans, and oh, by the way, they're demons. That's done on purpose so that you will not investigate your true nature. This is done so you will not investigate your true soul identity. Once you find out what that is, nothing can touch you. Nothing can touch you once you understand what your true identity has always been. Once you understand the nature of this cosmos, once you understand the nature of all conscious beings is the same, and that all conscious beings are souls just like you, it doesn't matter what planet they're from, what dimension they are in, doesn't matter what physical species they are, none of that matters. Any more than when you're with your friends, the color of their hair and the color of their eyes means anything to you. Of course it doesn't. Everybody has different color hair and eyes. But we're all the same. You see, you relate to them, you have empathy for them. That's what it's like for them. They might be somebody that looks like you, but they don't have ears. They might be small little humans. They might be, 10 feet tall. They might look like insects. Some of them are cats. That was one of the most interesting ones for me. There are beings out there that, look like giant cat people, and they purr and they play, and they're very interesting beings. But none of that matters. The only thing that matters, you happen to be a monkey, they're a cat, another one is, a cricket, another one is some other kind of humanoid looking thing. It doesn't mean anything. What matters is your soul, and that's the only thing that's ever mattered. So we're heading towards that. It's coming very soon. And I believe that all of this stuff, it is my feeling, this is not a psychic prediction. But, on the one hand, I'm here to tell you, I don't know what your experience is, but the Ascension symptoms are starting to increase. I'm finding myself, unless I'm very conscious and connected, I find myself very anxious. And my brain is looking for all kinds of things to be anxious about and create all kinds of drama about. I'm wanting to react to anything everybody does and says. And, it's because my 3D body knows that something's up. Something's about to go down. And, the false flag event might be on its way. Who knows? The thing is that the deep state has their back against the wall because they know that they've run out of time. And they know that they have very limited, things left to do. What's interesting is that nobody seems to care about the whole UFO thing. Nobody seems to care about the alien thing. And that's a problem. Nobody seems to care about, nobody seems to believe anything that they're being told anymore. The narrative is falling apart. And more people are waking up like popcorn all over the place. People are just waking up. And so they're afraid. And unfortunately, when you have a wounded wild animal up against the wall, they tend to get desperate and they get dangerous. So my hope is that everything goes smoothly, but there might be some chaos coming down. I'm going to share with you a meditation before we get into the questions, which if you choose to, you can put your conscious soul energy and connect it with the infinite power of the cosmos, and you can have an impact, and perhaps your meditation might be the one that pushes us over the edge and takes us to the next reality. At the very least, every single person who meditates in this way makes it more difficult for the powers that be to continue their sociopathic agenda on planet Earth. So let me give you that. This is just one of them. Again, any one of these, I have guided interdimensional meditations to the sun. That's an excellent one. Free. You can go on just to the YouTube channel and click on the playlist and meditate. Just follow that meditation. Go to the sun and send love to planet Earth. Or you can do this meditation I'm going to share with you, and you can go into the quantum field and send love even to the powers that be. It's very important that you do that you don't respond negatively. You don't respond negatively to psychopaths. Psychopaths want you to get violent with them. That's how they own you. So you don't respond to negativity with negativity. But the one thing that psychopaths, dark force people, the one thing they cannot tolerate is love. They can't tolerate it. This is, why Dracula can't stand the sun. If the sun touches him, it'll burn him to death. That's literally how it feels for a psychopath if you love them unconditionally. Loving them unconditionally does not mean co-signing and codependently trying to meet their needs. It means loving them unconditionally without any agenda for them, seeing them for who they truly are, having compassion for them. This is actually the most frightening thing for a psychopath. And so when this comes at them energetically and with spiritual power, it will buckle them to their knees. And I mean that in all seriousness. They will fall to their knees and they will be unable to function. So you don't have to wish anything bad on the dark force people, because their own negativity will destroy them when you shine light on them. So I recommend that you do that in this meditation if you want to stop them in their tracks. You can also just not pay any attention to them at all. That's another way to deal with a psychopath. You just don't pay any attention to them. And you focus on your own happiness. That's been my strategy for my life ever since I got divorced 10 years ago. I said, screw this, I'm not living for anybody else ever again. I'm just going to live for myself. And when I live for myself, I make everybody else happy, because when I'm happy, my soul is happy, and that energy goes out to everybody else. And it's not my job to make anybody else happy. My job is to make me happy and to have compassion and grace for all of the souls that I come in contact with, and to share with anybody who wants to listen how I achieved my own happiness and my own freedom. All right, so here's the meditation. I've shared it with you before, but you can do it again. It's the quantum field meditation to reprogram 3D physical matter into whatever you choose. Step 1, do the Hool breath. You see it right there? If you've never seen that, just copy that and paste it into Google, and you can find videos of me teaching you how to do it. Do the Hool breath and or the lightning qigong, which you can find at thunderwizard.com, or any of the meditation that I have on the playlists. Do any of that for at least 10 minutes. So the Hool breath, lightning qigong, or any meditation for at least 10 minutes is step 1. Step 2, interdimensional meditation, which I've said there are free guided interdimensional meditations. Very quickly, what it is it's just you project your consciousness outside of Earth's orbit. That's step 2. Step 3, you mentally invite any and all higher dimensional beings to help your quantum field meditation. You ask for their help. They are out there waiting for you to ask for their help. Number 4, you travel. You just have the intention to travel to the light realm at the center of the universe. That's just another way of saying the quantum field. Number 5, when you're there, you imagine whatever you truly want. So if you don't know what you want, ask your heart, what is it that makes me happy? And imagine it. Create it in your imagination. If it's health, create the perfect body. If it's prosperity, create happiness and freedom and prosperity. If it's the new earth where unicorns and trees that have Skittles on them and I don't know, just puppies and kittens, whatever it is that makes you happy. Imagine that world. Number 6, repeat phrases like to yourself: I am God, I am infinite light, I am love, I am peace, I am happiness, I am filled with power, I am filled with joy, I release all negativity. These kinds of things. Repeat these kinds of things, especially the ones that empower you, that sound completely unbelievable, that go beyond your 3D ability to believe that you could be, you could be Zeus incarnate. And I mean that in all seriousness. Number 7, you thank your guides and you ask them for any words of advice or healing. So when you get to the end of creating your reality and you can't think of anything more to imagine and you're done playing in your imagination, then you ask your guides, is there anything else that you'd like to tell me? Is there anything else I should know? You can ask for a blessing. You can ask for them to give you some energy to empower you. Number 8, you allow your spirit to come back to earth. And as you lower yourself back to earth, go down through your roof and you see your beautiful body lying there, you then send your body energy. Send healing and power to your body. And sometimes you might feel a very strange power in your physical body when you're imagining that. It's a really strange thing. But whether you feel it or not isn't important. And then allow your spirit to come back into your body and wake yourself up and massage your face and your body, and then write down whatever you were told and whatever you saw. And if you need to, you can pause the video if you're watching this and just read this and memorize it or write it down or whatever. And if the more people that do these kinds of practices, the faster the shift will come. The faster this shift will come, and the less time the psychopaths have to try a last-ditch attempt to take over planet Earth. Again, my feeling is, it's not a psychic prediction. I'm not a psychic. I'm not a channeler. I'm not a prophet. But my feeling is that something's going to happen between now and the end of this year. Something. Exactly what, I don't know. Will it be the Ascension event? Perhaps it will. I've been told by my higher dimensional friends, when they've showed me, this event in a few different ways, and I ask them, I say, when is this going to happen? And they say, it happens when you decide it happens. So I'm sharing that with you. When you decide it's time to shift, and you make that decision from a higher dimensional space, a meditative place, what I'm being told is that that's when it will happen. Crazy things happen when you meditate from the quantum field. People are healing themselves of all kinds of diseases that are incurable. Cancer, muscular sclerosis, freaking brain aneurysms, strokes, blindness. This is coming from Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. This has been documented, scientifically documented. People who do these kinds of meditations, one of the things that happens is their DNA changes. Their telomeres on their cells lengthen, things that shouldn't happen. People's bodies actually shift. And I love what he says. If you want to change your body, you have to change who you are. You have to become a different person. And that is only done through actions. That is why I give out so many practices. I just gave you a meditation. That's an action. Beliefs and assumptions are also actions. When you choose to believe something, even if you don't believe it. This happens. Christians do this all the time. They tell you, accept Jesus as Lord. If you just according to Christians, if you just accept mentally that Jesus died and rose from the dead, you'll be saved. Well, that is a deep state flip on what actually happens in the quantum field. When you make the decision to trust the universe, you change. When you make the decision to operate from your highest divine essence, you change. When you take action in your physical life as though you are an infinite being who's loved by the universe, you change. If you don't do anything different, you will not change. So the people ask me all the time, how do I overcome this? How do I accomplish this? How do I accomplish that? And the thing I say most often is I say, go to thunderwizard.com, subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Challenge, and simply follow my instructions. Following somebody's instructions. You're not doing what you know how to do. You're having somebody else change your, how you go through your day. Just that changes you. But if you don't do anything, nothing will change. If you act completely contrary to what your negativity inside you tells about you, you will become that. You're a 98-pound weakling, but you want to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, what did Arnold Schwarzenegger do? Oh, he went to the gym and he lifted a lot of weights and he did that 6 days a week for years. Oh, you go do that, magically you become the next Mr. Olympia. It's not what you feel, it's what you do. And what you choose to believe and what you choose to assume, whether you believe it or feel it, is irrelevant. And the most important one is just adopt the assumption. Whether you feel it or not, I don't care. But adopt the assumption that the universe loves you and is so committed to your evolution that it will give you every single thing you need for your life and your happiness. Now, if you make that assumption, you just accept that as long as I am doing what my soul wants, I am coming from my divinity. If I'm coming from my divinity, that means that I'm God. And if I'm God, that means that my creation must obey me. This is how you have to think of yourself. Now, when you are not operating from your divinity, then you're a stranger, and the universe goes, I don't know who you are. If you're acting in ways that is damaging to you, if you're acting in ways that's damaging to others, you all of a sudden become somebody else to the quantum field, to the matrix, to physical reality. And when you try and get your needs met, the universe says, I don't know who you are. I'm not going to give you any of that stuff. That is for this divine being that is named so-and-so, that looks a lot like you, but is actually a divine being. And that, I know what that divine being wants, and what you're doing is not what that divine being wants, so I'm not going to give you anything. And then what ends up happening is you start to think that the universe doesn't love you, that there's no God, that evil aliens are trying to destroy you, and that you become this victim. And that makes you act even more dysfunctionally and away from your soul, which makes the universe back off from you. So I'm not going to give you that stuff. That's reserved for, Mahadeva. If it's me and I start acting dysfunctionally, the universe is going to go, that's not meant for you. That's meant for this guy named Mahadeva, the Thunder Wizard. Oh, I see you're changing your behavior. Oh, you are him. Oh, you were pretending to be somebody that had a victim mentality. Oh, now I see who. Oh, yeah, here's $1,000. Here's a new place to live. Here's health. Here's happiness. Here's love. So start with that assumption. Just assume that everything is given to you for your benefit. Now, before I get into answering the questions, I just want to ask you, if you've already written down a question for me, or if you're planning on asking a question, my question to you is, what of my practices are you doing? I thought about making this obligatory. That before anybody shared a question or shared a feeling, they had to tell me, what of my practices are they doing? You're doing the lightning qigong, you're doing the celestial qigong, awakening the immortals, the Hul breath for 10 minutes a day. Because if you're not doing any of these things, it's very likely I'm going to respond in ways you aren't going to like. I gave somebody a hard time yesterday, and I felt a little bad about it, but it was just so clear to me that this person had some severe untreated codependence. And when you're that, wrapped up in your own chaos in your mind, I've been there myself. It's very difficult, even if I answer questions, to be helpful. So I have to cut through all that. It's like when somebody walks into the doctor's office and they've got this bleeding pustule on their shoulder, and somebody starts talking about, I think I have a hangnail. The doctor's going to go, I don't care about the hangnail. We got to get rid of that infection. And then the person goes, the infection, yeah, but my hangnail. And that's what ends up happening when people start asking me questions that are not related to what I talk about or what I teach. I start saying, we got to deal with this other infection that you're completely unaware of. So I just want to ask you, before you start launching into the questions, what of my practices are you doing? Because if you do the practices, I'm going to know. And if you're not doing the practices, I'm going to know. And you're not going to benefit, this is what's important. If you're not doing the practices, if you're not studying the material that I'm teaching, you're just coming on here because you got nothing better to do and you want to be able to, be involved in a YouTube new agey thing. If that's what's going on, my answers won't be helpful to you. And my job is to help you. And so when you do the practices, I am able to actually get in there and help you solve your problems. Having said that, if you have a question, write the word question in all caps, just the word question. If you have a feeling, write the word feeling in all caps. And if you have a feeling, you actually have to put an emotion. You have to write a specific emotion. All right, let me take a look and see what's going on here. So as I said, I left links here at the top. Go take those links now. Learn the truth about the hidden UFO program and learn about the mainstream media cover-up of UFOs. Get those links now and copy them and check them out when you're done with this video. Cats and me. Cats and me? How many cats do you have? Are you like one of those cat ladies? Do you have like 20 cats in the house? Cats and me, honest feeling. I've been doing your practices and I feel joyous jolts and spinal energy. Good for you. You see? I'm not giving you this stuff for no reason. I'm happy to hear that it's helpful. And Cats and me goes on to say, so I can testify these practices aren't just for show. There's real power. Dabbler Deluxe. Dabbler Deluxe, what of my practices are you doing? Dabbler Deluxe question. I have been working on manifestation with the goal of assuming the full power of Creator in 3D to change it, but from my understanding of what you have been saying, that this is misguided. Where's the question? The whole 5D Earth thing is new to me, by the way. There's no question in there. All you've said is that you're doing something and then you think that. So it's not, here's another thing that's going to annoy me. When your thinking is not clear. When your thinking is clear, you can express yourself. So did you think through this question before you threw it out there? Your mind seems muddled. So try again, because I can't find what the question is in that. Dabbler Deluxe question. Are we turning 3D Earth into 5D Earth with our collective manifestation effort? Are we? So here's what's happening, Dabbler Deluxe. You're letting your intellect get in the way of just doing the work. You think by knowing this, it's going to help you. I don't have an answer to your question. In fact, I was going to talk about it. I didn't get around to it, but I was going to talk about, so are we shifting 3D into 5D, or does 5D already exist? There are different theories about all this. Some people say that we're going to create an interdimensional portal, and those who are ready and want to will be able to shift and walk through a portal, walk across a bridge and go to another realm. They'll climb up a ladder, they'll disappear. Some people think you'll be able to go back and forth between both places for a while. Some people think there will be, portals where you'll step into it and you will. Some people say you'll just think about the 5D Earth and then you'll wake up one day and you'll be in it. I haven't shown exactly how that's going to happen. But as you can tell, I don't waste a lot of time worrying about it. It's going to happen however it's going to happen. I do know that I'm the one that makes it happen. And I make it happen not by imagining the ladder or the bridge or the whatever. I imagine the 5D Earth I want to live in. That's the only thing that you're supposed to do. You focus on the 5D Earth you want to live in, and it will be created. How you'll get there? Not important. That's true with 3D life as well. I've created all of the best things in my 3D life. Today was even though the waves were kind of small, the surfing was phenomenal, and it was because I spent time imagining the kind of surfing I wanted to have. And sure enough, I created it. I walked right into it. I've done that numerous times in numerous different ways. So who cares? Just imagine the 5D world that you want, get wrapped up in it, take joy in it, let it overwhelm you with happiness and joy and passion, and then, however it happens is however it happens. Dabbler Deluxe, when did I say I wanted a statement? But you're saying I'm doing the protocols you listed earlier. What protocols are that? There's nothing wrong with being specific. Do you have any idea how many practices there are on this channel? So there's the 90-day challenge, the lightning qigong, there's the celestial qigong, there's the awakening the immortals. That's different. Come on, guys. It's okay to own your thoughts. It's okay to own your responses. It's okay to be specific. One of the things that the internet generation has done to people is it's made them lazy. They don't, when you're talking, if you were talking in front of me, you would tell me. There's no emoji that comes out of your mouth. There's like words and phrases and sentences, and they work really well. So feel free to use them. I'll appreciate it, and so will everybody else. Vanessa, question. Can you put out some new guided interdimensional meditations? Have you done all the ones that I put up already? I got so much out of doing your ones, much more than Dr. Greer's. Well, that's a nice thing to say. I can do that. I have plans to do that. But, in the meantime, there's plenty of stuff to take advantage of. Cats and Me says, I'm doing parts of the morning practice, so you are subscribed to the 90-day challenge. Thank you. I'm doing parts of the morning practice, including alternate nostril, holding the 3 ones, and awaken the immortals. Those are incredibly powerful. Each one of those is enough. The holding the 3 ones was the practice of the Maoshan monks and nuns, by the way. It was the only Taoist mountain that had men and women. The only one that had both. It was the most powerful one. And the Maoshan Taoists, they had the ability to leave this reality. So the whole point of the 3 ones meditation, in case you didn't know, the whole point of the 3 ones meditation is that when the 3 ones in you align with the 3 ones in the created reality, you phase out of existence. And it says that the chariot of the feathered serpent comes down, and in the light of day you fly off to the highest heavens. And they meant that very literally. The stories that came down to me is that the Maoshan monks would do things like, they would go through these practices and meditations, and then they would choose to die. And what would happen is that their heart, they'd go into a state of whatever you call that, like deep meditation, and the heart would just barely beat, and their body would start to wither away. And so just the brain and the heart and the 5 organs would just barely be functioning. And you'd bury them, put them in a coffin and bury them for 30 days. And you'd check on them. 15 days in, you check to see, yep, body's still there, it's rotting, you can still see the heart kind of beating. And then 30 days later, you'd open it up and there'd be nobody there. And then they'd say, hey guys, and they'd walk through the wall. That's the kind of stuff these people did. The holding the 3 ones was the main practice for these guys. You think I'm giving you, those of you who aren't, don't know, you don't realize it, but I'm giving you the most powerful stuff in history. And I'm making it available to the world. If I did that 20 years ago, there would be Chinese guys knocking on my door looking to have a very serious conversation with me. But things are different now. And I appreciate you sharing your experience. Let's see. Cats and me. I have 1 cat. All right. I'm just giving you a hard time. Vanessa, yes, I've done all of your guided meditations. Okay, so you've done the guided meditations on the free stuff. That's very helpful. So Vanessa, I encourage you to do some of the other meditations that, even if you just want to stay within the free, doing Awakening the Immortals, all that kind of stuff. It'll empower. You can do the guided meditations you already have access to, and it'll make them even greater. Here's what happens when you do my practices, especially when you do the 90-day challenge or the 5-element Maoshan. If you really want the most powerful practice I think that exists, go to maoshan.thunderwizard.com. Those practices are the most powerful things I've ever experienced. And we're talking, if you master these, you'll leave your body. You'll have an out-of-body experience, and you will come back with a power that you didn't have before. But when you do any of these practices that I teach, what's happening is that you are able to create a portal. And you are able to go deeper and farther and bring more and more of that higher dimensional energy into your space. This is how these beings fought demons, by the way. People ask, do we need to fight demons, etc.? It's like, that's not the point. The point is that when you tap into 5th dimensional energy, 2-dimensional demons, they can't tolerate it. Again, like Dracula and the sunlight, they can't tolerate it. So it's not about fighting demons, it's about empowering yourself. And I didn't do this practice to fight demons, although I have. I did this practice for my own empowerment. It's just, a good side effect that if you have this power, you can walk into a haunted house and all the ghosts will run away. You can go someplace where there's like demon portals from the 2nd dimension, and you can go there and they will all run away from you. Because your energy is vibrating at such a high level, they can't tolerate it. They can't be around it. So this stuff is for real. As you've said, all you have to do is just practice it and you'll find out. All right, let's see, what else do we got here? All right, that's not a question. All right, I don't see any other questions here, so I guess that's it. All right, so that's all, guys. The books, go to Michael William Denny at Amazon, Kindle, or Audible. My suggestion for anybody that's new and you really want to find, I talked about, learn how to create the assumption that the universe must give you everything that you need. If you can ingrain that assumption into your mind and take action on that assumption. Bear in mind, I'm not saying take action on your feelings. You don't have to feel like you can, win the world, conquer the world. You can feel afraid and wimpy and meaningless and worthless. You can have all those horrible feelings and still act on the assumption that the universe loves you and wants to give you everything that you need. Do you understand that? It's very important you understand that. You know, guys, you know, fighters that go into, you know, like Mike Tyson. At his height, he was untouchable. And if you ask him about it, he would say, I was scared. Going into every fight, I was scared. I heard him say. I don't know if he'll say that now, but he said that at one point. A lot of other fighters say that. It's not about how you feel. My ancestors said, those that die in battle go to Valhalla. Not those I act this way, something good will come to me. If I go against my fears, if I act contrary to my fears, I'll get what I want. If I just let this uncomfortable feeling, this fear of, oh my God, if I don't text that girl, or why didn't that guy call me back? If I don't act on that feeling, and if you don't act on that feeling, guess what? You'll be okay. Do the opposite. What would somebody who wasn't afraid do? What would somebody who was secure in themselves, what would they do? Do what they do. That's why it's important to have a teacher. When a teacher gives you something to do, you don't ask questions. You just go, you know what? I trust that you knew what you were doing, and I want what you have. That's why I say, if you want what I have, you got to do what I do. If you're not willing to do what I do, you're not going to get what I have. Doesn't mean you have to like it or believe in it or feel good about it. What else? Timothy's all honest feeling, doing whole 3 ones a lot, heaven and earth, interdimensional meditation, and a few others, plus 12 steps. I'm about ready to launch a 12-step video. I thought about making a 5D 12-step program, but I'm not ready to commit to that yet. Anyway, he says, I feel that I have issues with right speech. I cuss too much, sometimes embellish. I'm working on it. Great. I still didn't hear an emotion, but I appreciate you sharing your experience. Cats and me question. Lately, my body has been feeling very joyous. Wow, lucky you. Especially now as I lay on the couch and I've attempted to breathe in that energy. Do you have any suggestions that can help me more? Like I'm blissed out right now, I'm very grateful. No, you do the work, this is what you get. You're doing the work, you're seeing the benefits. You go to the gym, you lift weights, your muscles get bigger. Get on the treadmill, you get better VO2 max. If you do the work, you will get the results. And all that's happening is that you're getting the results of your hard work. And you're already doing it. You just relax into it. You breathe into it. One of the things I learned recently is when there's higher dimensional energy hitting me, sometimes I will have just this feeling of anxiety. My heart rate will feel like it's going up. I'll feel this pressure in my chest and feel like my heart's beating faster, and I'll feel like I'm anxious about something. And then I'll realize, no, that's just electromagnetic energy that's hitting my body. And then when I breathe into it, I die a little bit to my ego, and that's uncomfortable. And then that turns into this blissful state. A lot like what you're talking about, Cats and me. All right. Is that it? We're all done? Okay. Thank you guys for showing up. I love you all. I wish you all the best. My whole focus in life is to come up with ways to help you. But if you don't do the work, all of my work is meaningless, at least in your life. So if you want to make all of my hard work meaningful for you, do the practices that I give you. And if I've done or said anything that's challenging or hurtful or offensive to anybody, know that my goal is to be as helpful as I can. I love you so much, I'll tell you the truth, even if it's not something you want to hear. So that's all. I wish you guys happiness and love and peace and success. And I will see you all extremely soon. Take care. Go back to the top of this chat and copy those 2 links if you want to find out what is really going on. Stuff I can't talk about on YouTube, but there's things happening behind the scenes that the mainstream media is covering up. You need to find out about it. I put those links there for you so you can learn what that is. Thanks again. I love you all. See you all next time.